This meeting is being taped and is live on SATV. Excused from tonight's meeting is Councilor Joan Lovely and Councilor Paul Prevey, who has some seminar he must attend, and Councilor Lovely is with Senator Berry, who is having a testimonial tonight in Danvers. I'm Acting President Joseph A. O'Keefe. Please stand for the reciting of the Pledge of Allegiance of the flag by Tom Fury. Councilor Fury. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing. I recognize Councilor Michael Sosnowski, Ward 2.
Thank you. Mr. President, what I'm asking for is a moment of personal privilege, because we've had a long-time Salem resident pass away this past few days. Dan Mackey, an incredible person in this city who has contributed so much in so many different ways to everybody, and I just thought it'd be nice if we have a moment of silence to honor his passing, and it's just such a sad occasion. It's just unbelievable.
We'll have a moment of silence. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Public testimony. Public testimony not to exceed 15 minutes. And your name must be on the roster to testify. And I call the first gentleman who was signed, Robert White, 16 Daniel Street, number 1, regarding the Pig's Eye placing park bench on Daniel Street. Mr. White, you approach this rostrum. Give us your name again, sir.
Robert White. That's number 2, apartment number 2.
Says 1 here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I must have wrote
okay.
the wrong. My vision is...
Go ahead, sir.
I would like to request that this matter be sent to subcommittee so that opposing opinions might be heard.
And would you like to state why you would want it postponed?
Pardon me?
What reasons would you want it postponed? What?
I want it sent to subcommittee so that the opposing opinions can be heard.
All right. Thank you.
That's it?
That's it?
Thank you very much.
The next person would be Rosemary O'Connor, 111 Mason Street, Project K9. Rosemary O'Connor.
Thank you.
Please give us your name again for the record.
Rosemary O'Connor, 111 Mason Street. And on the agenda this evening is Project K9 to be accepted, the dogs and the funds to be accepted by the city. And I ask that the council accept them with the enthusiasm that the citizens and the businesses of Salem have raised these funds. They've all been raised by citizens, and they see the need and they want the dogs. And I hope the council will accept it with the same enthusiasm. Thank you.
I also have on the roster Shirley Walker, 51 Lafayette Street. Ms. Walker, would you like to approach? Same subject, K9?
Shirley Walker, 51 Lafayette Street. I just want to support Rosemary in her request for the K9 Project Dogs. This is an amazing project. In 3 months, they have raised such a significant amount of money, all private, through the efforts of Rosemary and Brian Gilligan, Captain Gilligan, and all of the good citizens and police officers in the city of Salem, and 2 or 3 FTEs of, dogs, canine dogs, and it is so welcome in a city. So I just want to say that I support all of them. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Walker. Captain Gilligan, you're not on the roster. Would you like to say something? I know you work diligently at the meeting. Would you like to come up and say something about this project? I see you sitting there, sir, and I know. Come up, will you?
Well,
Captain Gilligan.
I would just like to thank the citizens who approached us and worked on this project. I think it makes you proud to be a resident of Salem. It makes you proud to be an employee of the city. When you have citizens and groups like the Mac Park Neighborhood Association, the Moose, and the businesses and the citizens of Salem that could raise this amount of money in such a short period of time, and with the passion and enthusiasm they had, it's really an amazing thing to see, and it really makes you feel good about this city and the direction it's going in. And I would encourage the council to accept this gift because there's an overwhelming need in this city that I could probably go on for hours about, but as Halloween approaches, you know, it's probably one of my most important tasks is securing enough canines to make that night successful. And I think it's evident over the years with the success we've had, what an important part they play in that and other events and just everyday policing in the city. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for your cogent remarks. For the people at home and in the audience here in the council chamber, the mayor has requested that the city council accept a donation of $44,500, and it's in your packet. And this testimony was just pertaining to accepting this money that will go to the police department for the purchase and training of 2 dogs. And it's in our packet tonight. And that's what these testimony is about. The next person is, I can hardly pronounce correctly, of 35 Chestnut Street. I can't read it, sir. Are you here and present? I'm not, who signed the petition regarding the pig's eye, sir? Can you?
That's me, yes. Jennifer Reardon, 35 Chestnut Street, also owner of In a Pig's Eye Restaurant.
35 Chestnut Street?
That's my home address, yes.
Yes, ma'am. Come up, please. I can hardly make out your writing, ma'am.
Sorry.
Give us your name again,
Jennifer Reardon,
and your business is,
In a Pig's Eye Restaurant, 148 Derby Street in Salem.
and there's information in our packet tonight about the request, about the seat.
Yeah, it's a bench that I've had out there since the smoking ban went into effect. It was donated by one of my patrons in memory of patrons that have passed away at the Pig's Eye, and it's been out there for, I don't know, however long the smoking ban has been in effect, 7 years. And it meets all I've had the building inspectors come down, and he's ascertained that it meets all the requirements for ADA. I mean, there's plenty of room for wheelchairs to get by on the sidewalk. It's really not in anybody's way or anything, and I didn't really realize that I needed a permit for it, and so I'm here to apply for a permit for it. And that's it.
Anyone else from your restaurant? There's another name on here, too, and I can't make that one out either.
Can I see what you wrote? Because
That would be you, sir?
my husband probably.
You want to testify, sir? Or your wife's enough?
No, she's spoken.
She summed it up well? All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We're going to go out of business. Madam City Clerk?
We have an order for National Grid to install a conduit on Chestnut Street.
What's the council's pleasure? National Grid. Is there somebody in the audience from National Grid? Hearing none? No one? National Grid, ma'am?
I'm not National Grid, I'm Hamilton Hall that requested it.
Why don't you come up, ma'am, and just tell us about it if you know about it.
I'm Pamela.
Give us your name and address, ma'am.
Pamela Jendrysik, 3 Hamilton Street.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm president of the board of Hamilton Hall. Hamilton Hall began proceeding with National Grid. We started last summer and really in earnest started a real dialogue last February. We paid for the installation of 400 amp service. We have 100 amp service. If we do not increase that service in the hall, we will not have any wedding business. Even in this shoulder seasons now, it's so warm. We had an event the other night, and Shirley could testify, people were just dying. It was so hot. We need this to have even portable air conditioners put in, but the building won't go. And I was told that National Grid would be here. We had assumed that the work, and we spoke to them, we thought the work would be finished in August.
Well, ma'am, under the rules, if that petitioner's not here, we couldn't hold the hearing.
I guess.
So we'd have to postpone it till the next meeting. Did that hurt your business? Or? Well,
It's-
all right, Councilor Sosnowski, Ward 2. This is Ward 2.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to speak to this if I could, please.
Yes, sir.
All right. This has been an ongoing project with Pamela, and I have talked about this at length. At first, there was an incredible bill that they wanted to give Hamilton Hall to get this project done. I got a hold of our city electrician, John Giardi, and we went down, and he took a look at it, discovered what the needs were. We talked with Pamela about, HVAC situations, what it needs to be heated, what it needs to be air conditioned, and any other supporting materials that it needed. Toward that end, I have to praise our city electrician, John Giardi. He actually got them to actually lower that bill substantially, all right? But this petition is going toward that end so that this hall can be used. I mean, the protocols are, we can't really do anything unless National Grid is here to do that.
Can't do anything
And I'm not going to
unless
oppose the
the
protocol.
petition is here.
However, I need to tell you that this is something I totally support, and I'd like to expedite it as soon as possible.
Well, let's mark it up for the next meeting,
Well, for
and
sure, but I mean, I'm really
notify
surprised they're
National
not here
Grid.
this evening.
because we have to have
I
them here.
understand that, Mr. President, but it's
They
just...
have to be here, ma'am.
Just making my statement. Thank
Is
you.
there something I should be doing to make sure they're here?
We'll ask the city clerk to notify the petitioner, National Grid, to appear at the next meeting, the 19th of September, Thursday, the 19th. And you
Thursday,
should
the
come back
19th
then.
of September. I
What
beg
date?
your pardon?
27.
I'm sorry, 27th, ma'am,
The 27th.
of September, at 7 o'clock. The next regular meeting of the city council. It meets twice a month.
Thank you.
First, second, and fourth Thursdays. Councilor Sosnowski.
I move that this matter be held over until the next meeting.
Councilor Sosnowski moves that this hearing be held over till the next meeting of the city council, the 27th of September. All in favor? Opposed? So voted. Madam City Clerk, appointments and reappointments.
Appointments and reappointments. Mayor's appointment of Barbara Schwartz to serve on the Beautification Committee with a term to expire on September 1st, 2015.
What is the council's pleasure? Move under the rules, lay it on the table, next meeting?
Mr. President, is Barbara Schwartz here? I see she's not here, so held under the rules, Mr. President.
Held at the next meeting of the city council, 27th of September. Mayor's appointment, Gregory St. Louis.
We have the mayor's appointment of Gregory St. Louis to serve on the Conservation Commission with a term to expire on September 1st, 2015.
Gregory Lewis, St. Louis, is in council chamber? Hearing none. Will someone move
Hold
for
under
this
the rules.
council president? It's
Move
Ward
to hold it under the
7.
rules.
Councilor Sosnowski moves that this be held over for the next regular meeting of the city council, 27th of September. All in favor? Opposed? So voted. Next matter, Mayor, is reappointment.
Mayor's reappointment of the following to serve as constables: Pasquale De Fio.
What's the council's pleasure? Received, made a matter of record?
Let her finish.
No, I'm sorry, ma'am. Keep going, ma'am.
Edward Westhaver.
What's the council's pleasure?
Mr. President,
Councilor
I
Sosnowski.
move that these matters be received and placed on file.
Councilor Sosnowski moves that both names and matters be received and placed on file. All opposed, so voted. So action, so taken. Communications for honor the mayor.
We have an appropriation of $103,901.90 from the Retirement Stabilization Fund Vacation Sick Leave Buyback Account to be expended for the retirement buyback of the following: Julie McNaught, Christine Fernandez, Richard Stafford, and Susan P. Brown.
Councilor McCarthy, Chairman of the Committee on Administration and Finance.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Councilor McCarthy moves for suspension of the rules. Any objections? Hearing none. Councilor McCarthy.
I further
remarks?
move for adoption.
Councilor McCarthy moves for adoption. Remarks, Councilor?
Thank you, Mr. President. As typically comes across our desk, these are the retirements. We're the last stop, so to speak, in the retirement process to authorize the money to be dispersed to these individuals which have retired. And it's contractual. It's by union negotiations. It's been cleared through the various departments. So I would move for approval. And on a personal note, I want to thank Ms. Brown and Mr. Stafford for their service. They both were longtime teachers at the Saltonstall School, and both my children were received a big majority of their education from those two individuals. It's a big loss, and I'm sad to see them go. But I would move for approval.
Any other councilor wish to have any remarks? I served in the school committee with Mr. Richard Stafford, Councilor. All in favor? Opposed? So voted. Unanimous. Adopted. Madam City Clerk.
We have an appropriation of $35,000 from the Receipts Reserve Golf Course to Park Recreation Golf Course Renovations and Repairs Account.
Councilor McCarthy, Chairman of A&F.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this matter be referred to the Committee on Administration and Finance.
Councilor McCarthy moves that this be referred to the matter, this matter be referred to the Committee on Administration and Finance. All in favor? Opposed? So voted under the rules. Next matter, communications from Her Honor the Mayor. Continue.
We have an appropriation of $11,304.60 from Receipts Reserve Sale of Lots to Cemetery Equipment Account.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this matter also be referred to the Committee on Administration and Finance.
Councilor McCarthy moved that this matter, the receipt of $11,304.60 be referred to the Committee on Administration and Finance. All in favor? Opposed? So voted. Yep. Madam City Clerk.
We have an appropriation of $6,660 from the Receipts Reserve Sale of Vaults to Cemetery Burial Account.
Counsel McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you. Sorry. Thank you, Mr. President. Slip of the tongue. I move for suspension of the rules.
Counsel McCarthy moves to suspension of the rules for the sale of balls. Any objection? Hearing none. Counsel McCarthy.
I further move for adoption.
Counsel McCarthy moves for adoption of this order of $6,660. Remarks, Counsellor?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a standard transaction that we see that occurs periodically throughout the year from the movement of the money from the receipts reserve to the burial. It's so there's no need to refer to committee. I move for approval.
Any
I
other-
recommend that.
Thank you, sir. Any other remarks from any member of the City Council? Hearing none. All in favor? Opposed? So voted unanimous. Madam City Clerk?
We have an order to accept a donation of canine dogs and equipment from the Salem Project Canine and Mass Vesta Dog with an estimated worth of $44,500 from the Salem, for the Salem Police Department.
Counsel McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption.
Counsel McCarthy moves for adoption of this order from the request from the mayor. Remarks, Counsellor?
I wholeheartedly move for adoption. I couldn't agree with Rosemary's remarks from earlier. I want to go on record as thanking the Mac Park Neighborhood Association with all their tremendous work that they did on this. And as Captain Gilligan stated earlier, the amount of enthusiasm and support that this initiative has taken hold of the city. I know a bunch of people that contributed to this worthwhile endeavor, and I couldn't agree with Captain Gilligan more that the ability to have canines at our disposal, under our control, is going to be a big boost to the city of Salem's police enforcement ability. And I just want to thank everybody who had something to do with this project in order to get the funding in place so that we can accept this and allow the police department to purchase these dogs, train the staff that needs to be trained to handle these dogs, and get these dogs on the street. I think it's great. It's a tremendous thing, and I know it's not done. I put it in my desk. Councilor Ryan, could I have that? They also have, if I may, Rosemary, one more event coming up. There's one more event coming up. It's September 22nd, 2012. It's a dinner. Tickets are $50, and there's a chance to advertise if you want. The businesses at home, if you want to advertise, call Rosemary. I'm sure Rosemary will get you all hooked up. Mac Park Neighborhood Association. And once again, another opportunity to raise some more funds, because I'm sure, I mean, this is going to get us started, but I'm sure there's going to be some things along the way that's going to come up that we're going to need a few more things. And I think it's a great opportunity, and I want to thank everybody that was involved, and I would move for adoption.
Remarks. Councilor Prevey worked very closely with Rosemary and Captain Gilligan and the police department on this committee. And the dog that we see in here is not one of the dogs I asked Rosemary earlier. This dog is deceased, and it was just showing what it would look like. German Shepherd. They're beautiful dogs. All right, all in favor?
Under
Opposed? So
discussion,
voted.
Mr.
Oh, remarks,
President?
Councilor, I'm sorry.
Yes, thank you. I need to expand a little bit further on what Councilor McCarthy was talking about here. It's very important that people at home understand that there's a dinner being held at this particular date on the 22nd. However, you need to get your RSVPs in by tomorrow. And right now, we are woefully short of selling all the tables and tickets, and they are $50 per ticket. It's a high side, but as we've all said, it's a worthwhile endeavor. And it has to be in by tomorrow. The deadline here was sponsorship. Okay, the sponsorship information has to be done by Friday the 14th, which is by 5 o'clock. You could probably get a dinner setting, a plate at a table, maybe a couple of days before, I would assume. Is that correct? All right, but soon. All right, it's. Can I read this, Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Read it.
Project K9 will host a celebratory dinner on September 22nd at the Waterfront Hotel Ballroom on Pickering Wharf in Salem, and we'd like you to join us. The evening it begins with a social hour from 6:30 to 7:30 with complimentary appetizers and a cash bar. Chicken stuffed with prosciutto, mushrooms, spinach, voisin cheese, and vegetarian dinner will follow at 7:30. All right, please join business and civic leaders, sponsors, and citizen volunteers for an evening of well-deserved celebration. All right, again, it's $50 per ticket. There's, out of the 25 tables, my understanding only 10 have been sold so far, so please, come on, guys, get out there and support this wonderful thing, because this is just a great venue. So just had to do a follow-up on that, Councilor. Thank you.
Any other remarks?
No, thank you.
Council Sergeant, what large?
Just want to tell Rosemary I'll be there. But, you know, I think if the police department needed a horse, Rosemary and her people would have found a way to go out and get one for them. It's just incredible the way they responded to this need. And I just want to tell a quick story about something that's very indicative of the attitude on the police department and the officers and men on the force. Because I had heard a
Men
very
and women,
loud-
Counselor, men and women.
Men and women, I'm sorry, yeah, I meant, the force. I was sitting on my porch and heard a dog screaming about a week and a half ago, yelping real loud. I heard somebody yelling loud after that, and I thought it might have been a domestic thing. Turns out, on Loring Avenue, a dog was hit by a car, and it was the owner yelling for the dog. The dog ran off hurt and couldn't be found. And we looked for a half an hour for that dog. There were flashlights everywhere. And Officer Ryan came aboard, actually Ryan Davis, I'm sorry, came and saw what was going on, and he left and he came back with his own dog that he had trained on his own. It was the offspring of another policeman's dog, and within like 5 minutes he found the dog, and we had thought the worst. We thought he was dead. He found that dog alive behind somebody's garage and brought it out, and it proves that we need a police dog on the force. We need both of them, and we could use some more, but it's just it was a happy ending to something that might have been a difficult night. And this officer just took it on his own to go home and get his own dog and come back and got the job done. So, thank you.
Good police work. Councilor Fury.
Mr. President, I had the privilege and pleasure of taking the Citizens Police Academy course with Captain Gilligan and Officer Kwasniewski. It's an amazing course to take, and I encourage anyone to take part in that course when it's offered again. And Chief St. Pierre mentioned the possibility of dogs being invested in the city of Salem and the police force. And I think this is a win-win program. And Rosemary and the people of Salem have stepped up. The best part of Salem is not the brick and mortar and its history, but the people stepping up in the right cause and the right time. And it's nothing more powerful than an idea whose time has come. We've had dogs before in the Salem police force. Now the time is right, again, to have it, especially with Halloween coming up and haunted happenings. It's a showcase, and it'll be a major force, a major tool for the police force to use. So thank you, Rosemary.
Any other remarks? Hearing none. All in favor of Councilor McCarthy's recommendation for adoption of the order? All opposed? Unanimous. Madam City Clerk.
We have an order to accept a donation in the amount of $1,000 from the town of Danvers for the Police Department Dare Summer Camp Program.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption.
Councilor McCarthy moves for adoption of this order of $1,000 from the town of Danvers Police Department to the DARE program. Remarks, Councilor?
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to go on record for the council thanking the town of Danvers for their generous donation to the DARE Summer Camp program. Obviously, this is a very worthwhile program, and as I've had the privilege of standing up numerous times over the last couple months on behalf of the summer camp program to accept donations from a lot of generous organizations and individuals, and I want to go on record as thanking them for their generous donation. Thank you.
Any other remarks? Any member of the council? All in favor of Councilor McCarthy's motion to accept the host? Unanimous.
We have
Here's information plan, Madam
We
City
have a
Clerk.
resolution to adopt the City of Salem Hazard Mitigation Plan 2012 update prepared by the Metropolitan Area Planning Council to be eligible to receive FEMA funding for a natural disaster.
What is the council's pleasure on this? Councilor Sosnowski.
Yeah, thank you. I think Councilor Privy would normally be the person here to move for adoption, seeing that he does the public health, safety, and environment, I believe, isn't it?
So what is your recommendation? To refer
I
to
think his
this committee?
recommendation would be to move for adoption.
Now?
Yes, please.
All right, any other remarks? Hearing none? Madam City Clerk, this would be just, not first passage, it would just be adoption of the order? Correct?
It's a resolution.
Needs two passages, all right. Not now, okay. All right, all in favor, only need one passage tonight, members. All in favor, adoption? Opposed? Unanimous. Adopted, unanimous. Good government. Mayor's information page. None. Right, ma'am? I can't see, so. I
Motions,
can't.
orders, and resolutions.
All right. I'm waiting. I asked everyone, they said, oh, you want roll call?
No.
I can't.
No. He'll get all right. He'll be all right. He'll get that.
This is a motion order. Councilor Sosnowski, page 9, motions, orders, and resolutions.
Page 8, Mr. President.
Page 8, oh. Page 8. Councilor
Mr. President, have you announced motions, orders, and resolutions, and they
Yes.
recognize me? Is that what you're doing?
Yes, yes,
Thank you,
sir.
Mr.
Page
President.
9,
Okay.
motions, orders, and resolutions. Sir,
Okay, thank you.
that's page 9.
Thank you. Let me get the right one here.
It's close enough.
I have to find the right one, Mr. President. Give me a moment. Okay. I don't see the order before me yet, but basically, this is order that the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs meet to discuss granting a variance in hours of operation for the tour business called Paranormal Salem, and that the city solicitor be invited.
Remarks, Councilor?
Yeah, I move for adoption, but under discussion, Mr. President, basically what this is the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs has a set of rules that we established for guidelines for the various paranormal, fortune-telling, and whatnot, all right? Under these guidelines, this particular application doesn't fit, and she would like an opportunity to address the committee to discuss why she may be or may not be eligible for a variance and be approved at that point, based on the conversation that will be had in committee at that point. So what we need to do is we need to get this out, we need to schedule a committee meeting for this and get it moving. I mean, that's the reason behind this.
So what is your recommendation?
My recommendation is move for adoption, that the committee meet to discuss this.
All right. Is the council familiar with what Councilor Sosnowski has stated?
It is, thank you. Okay.
Any other remarks? All in favor? Opposed? So voted. Adopted. Councilor Sosnowski, is that it?
That was it on that one,
All
thank
right.
you. Joe?
Madam City Clerk?
Read the names the next day.
Where at, where? We're now at 8. Right. Motions, orders, and resolutions, continued. Councilor Sosnowski, we just handled yours.
Counselor Ryan?
Are you again? Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Well, it says Councilor Sosnowski.
Page 8.
Page 8.
Mr. President, what you need to do at this point, may I approach you, Mr. President?
Sure.
Okay, excuse me.
You can point it out to me.
What you need to do at this point is you need to, under motions, orders, and resolutions, okay, you need to recognize this person.
That's you.
Yeah, but then that one we just did, so this is the one you have to do next. And then this is the
Oh,
one you need
all
to do
right.
next, okay? Right? Yeah?
Thank you. Councilor Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem in the year 2012, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap parking zone, limited time. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Butler Street in front of number 69 for a distance of 20 feet, handicap parking, tow zones. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by city charter.
Remarks? Councilor
No
Butler
remarks,
Street?
it's just basically, it's a handicap, resident need a handicap sign in front of their house, and it got the approval of Lieutenant Pazuski on the police department. So
Thank you, Councilor. All in favor? Opposed? So voted. Councilor Lyons, stay standing.
thank you. Next one, these are for Council Prevey, he's not here, so I'll bring these in for him. City of Salem in the year 2012, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, chapter, section 42, section 45, heavy commercial vehicles prohibited on certain streets. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, School Street, from North Street to Tremont Street, heavy commercial vehicles prohibited. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by city charter.
Any remarks on the School Street application?
This is in Ward 6. I grew up in Ward 6, so I know the areas between North Street and Tremont Street, School Street, and this ordinance is coming in, so if heavy vehicles go down there and the police catch them, they have a tool to write them a ticket, so I just just don't want heavy trucks going down and using that two streets cutting between Tremont and North Street as a cut through. So I believe Council Prevey did this to stop that from happening and give the police some more tools.
Good order. All in favor of the adoption of the order submitted? Councilor Ryan, again.
Council Prevey, City of Salem, in the year 2012, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap parking zone, limited time, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Balcom Street, in front of number 13, for a distance of 20 feet, handicap parking tow zone. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by City Charter.
Remarks, Councilor?
This is another handicap sign. The resident in front of 13 Balcom Street needed a handicap sign. It has the approval of Lieutenant Pazuski.
Any other remarks? Any members of the council hearing none? All in favor? Opposed? So voted. Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Todd Siegel, Ward 3.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem, in the year 2012, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, Chapter 42, Section B, handicap zones, limited time. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Mount Vernon Street, even side starting at 0.20 feet from Winthrop Street and extended for 20 feet. Handicap parking tow zone. Section 2, the ordinance shall take effect as provided by City Charter.
Remarks, Councilor Siegel?
Self-explanatory.
Thank you, sir. All in favor of the adoption of the order? Opposed? So voted unanimous. Councilor McCarthy, Ward 1.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem City Council, September 13, 2012, ordered that the attached tag day application for Salem Academy Charter School for September 14th, 21st, 28th, and October 5th, 2012 be granted.
Remarks, Councilor?
Nope, it has the approval of the police department. I don't have a problem with it. Thank you.
All in favor of adoption of this request for a tag day? Opposed? So voted unanimous. Councilor McCarthy again.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem City Council, September 13th, 2012, ordered that the City Council amend the ordinance relative to parking with regards to the newly created parking zones on Congress Street, Dodge Street, and Gedney Street, and that the matter be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, License, and Legal Affairs, co-posted Committee of the Whole.
Remarks, Councilor McCarthy?
Thank you, Mr. President. About once a week or so, I try to touch base with Mr. Hacker and a couple other people with regards to what's going on with the comprehensive parking plan that we implemented. And I'm fully aware of the fact that the comprehensive plan has some, I can put it politely, issues, I guess would be the best word to describe it, that are gonna definitely need to be tweaked. We've all recognized that, that there are some definite issues with the plan in that regard. But in talking to the good Ward 2 councilor and the good Ward 5 councilor, relative to Dodge Street and Gedney Street, there are three zones. In the plan, we created these zones. And these zones are basically on the outside, on the outskirts of, so to speak, of downtown, the fringes of downtown. There's zone parking, which is on the street. The problem that we're having is, one, they're not selling, and two, because they're not selling, there are vast amounts of spots on streets that are unable to have people parking them. And I fully was 100% behind waiting the full 90 days and getting the recommendations that are kind of come out of committee in order to, with some of the different things. There's been a whole bunch of, a litany of different things that have been talked about with regards to how to improve the parking plan. And I'm in favor of those. But at the same time, I'm also very well aware of the fact that October is just around the corner. And we're gonna have 3 areas right on the edge of downtown of which nobody can park because the zone passes aren't selling. The only zone passes that are really selling, it seems to be working to a point which I fully think needs to be tweaked, so to speak, is Raleigh Plaza. That area in Raleigh Plaza, those passes seem to sell. I think that there's some room to, I've had some conversations about how those potentially down the road could be tweaked to work better. But for the purposes of right now, I think it's very, my recommendation, I'd be willing to listen to anybody who wants to speak on it. Recommendation would be somehow to get this, to repeal the ordinance relative to these 3 areas tonight for first passage, send it to committee, bring in Mr. Hacker, because I've had conversations, I won't speak for him, but I've had conversations with Mr. Hacker. Bring in whoever we feel is necessary to talk about this and get these repealed, in my opinion, before, by our next meeting with 2 passages, so therefore they can come off the books for the month of October. They're not working. Everyone I've talked to, they don't work. They're not selling, and it just doesn't make sense. So I'll open it
No,
up to the
question
floor.
from the chair to you. Holy Ghost Square, shouldn't that be added to this? I go down there every day and it was packed back to the phone company.
I'll open it up.
Well-
I brought it in for the ones I talked to the various councils of the area.
I agree with you, but I think we agreed, didn't the council, that we'd wait until the 1st of October? The mayor wanted 90 days.
I agree, I understand that. There's other, with all due
I'm
respect.
opposed, I know, I agree with you, but
all
it's
due
90
respect, Mr.
days. She
President,
wants,
I am fully aware of the 90 days, and I want to wait the 90 days relative to everything else on the books. Every other discussion, I'm willing to have those conversations, but specifically with regards to these 3 specific areas, which are zone passes that are on streets, they don't seem to work.
you're right.
And I think it's very important that we get these removed prior to October. If the will is to keep them on and wait the 90 days,
Fine.
that's fine, I can languish in committee. But
could I
my
recognize
objective
Councilor
was bringing it in
Sosnowski
was to have a discussion about it.
bring the council up to date? Councilor Sosnowski, could you bring the committee council up to date on this whole issue of parking and?
That'll come forward. There'll be an update when we do it.
Well, it's gonna,
reports. Relative to what Councilor McCarthy is referring to, I totally understand what Councilor McCarthy is referring to and totally support his action, all right? As a matter of fact, it goes a little bit further, as I'd almost like to include, I've been getting phone calls, even though it's Councilor Terriel's ward, from Ace Hardware, Banville Optical, and all the way up to the corner Harbor in Lafayette Street, and forgive me for not remembering the name of that, but these businesses are being put out of business. And if we put up any more signs, the next business sign you gotta put up is going out of business sign. I mean, but basically, they're putting 4-hour parking in front of these places, and they're really concerned, and I wish you would add that to your order as well. But actually, this is Councilor Terriel's ward, so I mean, I don't wanna step on Councilor Terriel's.
Councilor, if you read the order, if you read the minutes, it says the city council amend the ordinance relative to parking. Ray, so we're doing that tonight, or when are we gonna do that? The committee.
Oh, did you hear Councilor McCarthy? Councilor McCarthy wants you to not amend that. We all want to give the 90-day window a period of chance to work, whether we like it or we don't like it, in the main part of it. However, on the outskirts is what Councilor McCarthy is referring to. There are some real serious problems on the outskirts, and Councilor McCarthy is trying to address it. And all I'm suggesting is that I'm trying not to cross ward lines here. That's my big problem here, all right? But it's being in the committee here. I'm getting the phone calls from certain people that are asking for some relief. And Councilor Terriel, you want to expand on that a little bit? All right, Mr. President, let Councilor
But this
Terriel.
opinion from the chair, in my humble opinion, I have researched this new parking plan, and I don't see where these streets, or any of these streets, with 4-hour are identified. Can someone in the council show me where in the plan those streets? I think it was just all encompassing, we would adopt this order, and all of this was go nicely, and it didn't go nicely. I agree with your order, I agree with this order, but where's it gonna end?
Mr. President, my understanding is every 30 days, we were supposed to look at it, not make any serious
90
changes.
days.
No, 90 days was, at the end of that period, there's some serious things that have to be done. Each and every individual spot needs an ordinance to support it, all right? And right now, there are no individual ordinances. There's gonna be several hundred ordinances that have to be filed to support this, if in fact, after the 90 days, everything
All right,
remains
any other,
intact.
Councilor Siegel? Are you all done, Councilor Sosnowski?
Well, you're asking me a question. Have I answered your question?
There'll be more questions gonna be asked in a minute.
There's going to
Councilor
be a
Siegel.
committee report in the committee section of the agenda.
Councilor Siegel.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to clear up one thing. We did have a meeting before, I think it was July, where we did agree for 90 days, but we agreed to have a 30-day look back every 30 days. I just want to clarify that. If there was a major change that needed to be addressed, we'd address it within the 30 days, but there would be a 90-day to look at the whole plan.
Councilor Torrio, Ward 5.
Thank you, Mr. President. We are, what we're talking about here, I think, is just trying, specifically, the Ward 1 councilor is looking at addressing a couple of the issues of the extremely underutilized past permit zones, the ones on, particularly the ones on Congress Street, the ones on Dodge Street, and the ones up on Getty Street that have been essentially unused since this went into effect. This is what we're looking at right now. There are also issues with some of the spaces that were set to 4-hour. That probably historically were not, and probably we should be bringing those back, but that's a separate action, a separate series of orders. What we're, the reason I believe this is coming up right now is this is gonna require passage through twice, and we wanna have this passed through in time for the October season to start. Otherwise, again, as Councilor McCarthy pointed out, we're gonna wind up going into, well into October with a lot of open spaces on the street that people aren't gonna be able to use. So this is to address this one immediate situation that's looming with the beginning of October coming up, and then we have a little bit of time to work out some of these other issues, and we're almost at that 90-day period now. By the end of this month, we're at the 90-day period. So we can start preparing to deal with some of these, but this is one that should be addressed that much sooner. Like that's really the point that we're trying to make from the floor here, Mr. President.
Any other member of the council? Councilor, who was first? Councilor, I'll recognize you, Councilor Sergeant, then Councilor Fury. Oh, yield to Councilor Sergeant?
I believe Council Fury is.
Councilor Fury.
Thank you very much. Mine will be brief. I think we should not undermine the integrity of the comprehensive parking program. It's undergone 20 different meetings along the way. It's a major comprehensive program. And it's going to affect the city of Salem. It's major, it's long overdue. And I think the 90-day moratorium, 90-day situation is to allow it to take place. And to open it up now, it's going to open up a kettle of worms. For these 3, then another 3, then another 3. I think 90 days is a professional way of handling it. There's going to be problems in any comprehensive program. Mr. Daniels has been here throughout the city of Salem in hearings and to our neighborhood associations, to us and everything. We're going to undergo problems. I think we should let a very comprehensive, well-designed, lots of time, effort, and energy is put into this program. It's controversial. It's affecting businesses, affecting parking downtown. But I think we should give it a chance. I think we're undermining the overall program itself by taking 3 out at a time, and we're opening up a kettle of worms. Thank you.
Do you want to, Councilor McCarthy, do you want to answer Councilor Fury right now, because you were the instigator of this ordinance. When you want to address the issue of, can we wait or should we work tonight? This is what it is.
I kind of don't like the word instigator, but I'll accept that. With all due respect to the good at-large councilor, I had a conversation. I didn't bring this order in blindly. I had a conversation with the Ward 2 councilor relative to his street. I had a conversation with a good Ward 5 councilor. We're the councilors. Every day I drop my son off, either at practice or at the high school, wherever he's going. I make a point of it to drive down Congress Street. If I get a cup of coffee first thing in the morning, I may go out of my way to go down Congress Street. Unfortunately, the zone does not work. It is underutilized, and it is come October, you're going to have people parking in there. There's going to be a handful of people that have these zone passes, and they're going to show up on a Friday afternoon, and people are going to park in there because no one's parking, and they're going to take the risk. And then those people with a zone pass are going to be calling, asking for a tow truck, and then we're going to be in the middle of this thing. We do not need to be in the middle of this thing, because unfortunately, in my opinion, and from everyone I've talked to, these 3 zones that are on the streets, not so much the one in Raleigh Plaza. I think the one in Raleigh Plaza has a real opportunity to work. I'm not trying to dismantle the whole comprehensive parking plan. I respect the plan. I think given the opportunity, with a lot of common sense and a lot of how is it working, how is it not working, and tweaking it, we're going to end up in the final say, it's going to be a better plan than what we had prior to this. But for right now, the purposes of right now, with these 3 areas, let's get it. All I'm asking for is a first passage to amend the ordinance, to delete these zones, send it to committee with the help of the good Ward 2 counselor and the License Order Legal Affairs Committee co-posted. We'll have Mr. Hacker in, we'll have Mr. Daniels in, we'll have anybody else who wants to come in. We'll work it out, and if the will is it stays in committee and we leave the zones in place through October, so be it. But if the will is to remove it, we bring it back in 2 weeks, we repeal it, and get the signs down.
So your order should say we're doing that tonight. We're amending the ordinance tonight.
That's what I'd like to do.
But that isn't what it says.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does.
Order, not an ordinance.
Where does it say you're going to amend the ordinance?
Right in the first sentence.
Order that the city council amend the ordinance relative to our first sentence.
But what? What? Those 3 streets, that's it?
That's it.
Well, then it should say Congress, Dodge, Gedney streets.
It says
Wouldn't
that.
it?
It says that.
How long you understand? Councilor Siegel.
Thank you, Mr. President. Although I agree with my Ward 1 brother here, I'd ask him if he would adopt this amendment in this order on Lafayette Street. Because although I understand what he's saying about visitors coming and parking, I think it's more important that we protect our businesses. Because without our businesses, we're not going to have anything. And these are businesses that are being affected on Lafayette Street. I think it's more important to address that issue, put it into committee now, than wait 3 months because these businesses getting killed when someone with a truck is parking 4 hours in front of their store and not going into their store.
Thank you, Council Siegel. Will you amend, Councilor McCarthy, are you agreeable to amending the ordinance to include Lafayette Street in this order? I can't see you, Councilor. Are you
I'll
agreeable?
defer to the Ward 5
All right,
councilors.
Councilor Siegel. Councilor Terrell.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. The Lafayette Street spaces we're referring to are not zone parking spaces. Those are meter spaces that were increased from short-term to long-term parking. So, if we're repealing, then we're repealing the meters that were already existing if we did that. I don't think that works in the context of this order.
So you're opposed to council's?
Yeah, I'm not opposed to going to shorter time on those meters like they were before the plan.
Councilor,
began.
he's adding Lafayette Street. Are you opposed to Lafayette
Yes.
Street being added? All right.
Yes, but I'm
Okay.
not opposed to cutting down the time on those meters to shorter time periods like they were before. I'm not opposed to going back to that.
But that's not in here.
Eliminating them entirely would be, I think would be a mistake.
This is just identifying streets. Councilor Sergeant at large.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think we're going to confuse the issue if we don't stick to the parking zones that are on the curb. I would ask for a separate council order that would address parking meter times, so that we have, even if it's written up now, so that we have two separate issues, and we don't, I don't think either one will get accomplished if we put them together.
Councilor Siegel, you understand?
Yes.
Okay.
You need a plan.
Thank you, Council. Keep going. Sergeant, Councilor Sergeant.
To Council McCarthy's order, there's only 2 streets that aren't here that are dealing with parking along the curb. We're not talking about passes in the parking lots or the garages. There's an issue that the passes on city streets just aren't working. There's not equal access to the parking spaces along the curb. I've been by these areas they're talking about, Holyoke Square, Gedney, those Norman Streets, and I have a number of pictures that show a Congress Street Bridge with 1 car parked in the zone. Every other space on a busy night is empty because people driving by them don't have the passes. Now, if the mission of this plan was to get more people downtown and more people parked, the picture isn't lying. If those were all full of cars, it'd be a different story. But I've been to Holyoke Square, Gedney Street, Norman Street, Congress Street, Dodge Street at various times of the day that are supposed to be busy. And people that aren't parking on them because they're reading the sign and they don't want to get ticketed. And I have emails from people that went by there, and because it was a zone where they used to park, they went to Swampscott to shop. Another night, a group of women that normally meet for dinner went down Congress Street and saw where they normally parked. They needed a pass and there were open spaces. And they went over to Beverly and had dinner. So we have an issue that I don't think we should be waiting 90 days for. It's a very small part of the plan, and I was one of the biggest supporters of the plan. With any question, I wanted to pass it so we could see if it worked or not, instead of not passing it without giving it a try and having some people be able to come forward and say, well, if you tried it, it would have worked. The best experiment we can do is to try it and see how it works, and we have. So some of these things are going to be slow to react, but some of these very obvious things we can make minor changes to within the 30-day period. And I would just like to amend this to include the streets that are curb parking spaces. There's only 2.
Hey, what are you going to add?
The only 2 streets that aren't on here are Holyoke Square and Norman Street. So if we just do this to include all the.
You're going to add Holyoke Square and Norman Street?
They're the only 2 streets that have curb passes that aren't in this ordinance, and the same issues are there. So that's all I would
Where
like
are you
to-
making your addition? After Gedney's, it's going to say Congress, Dodge, strike out the and, it'll be Gedney, Holyoke Square, and Norman Street. Is that what you're?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Now we've covered either that or we simply add parking
2,
zones.
3,
Yeah.
4, 5. There's 5. There's 3. two new streets added. Polio Square and Norman Street, is
Those
that
are the
correct?
only two that I know of.
Well,
that
Councilor
aren't
McCarthy's
included
got his
on.
hand up. Maybe he can clarify.
Yeah, I'm willing to yield.
Well, let's hear from Councilor McCarthy, Councilor, then we'll get back to you.
I would be, with the support of the Ward 2 Council, I'd be willing to accept that amendment.
All right, Councilor Sosowski, Ward 2, that's Ward 2.
Thank you. As a matter of fact, Mr. President, I received a phone call from a person that lives at the corner of Summer and Norman, which so it exactly falls into plan with what Councilor Sargent is saying. However, given my schedule, I haven't had the time to meet with them. I'm supposed to be meeting with them Sunday afternoon so they can explain to me exactly their dilemma. And yes, it is, it's a zoned situation, so I would ask that that be included.
Those
because
two.
by the time that gets to committee, I'll have the information from those people that live in that area, and I'll know what exactly their concerns are.
The two, those two.
Norman
Norman
and
and Holyoke Square will be
Yes.
added. There'll be 5 streets now.
That's correct, Mr.
Okay.
President.
City Clerk has that? Assistant City Clerk has that? So we're amending the ordinance tonight. First passage. Council understand what we're doing?
Okay.
Why don't you clarify it, Madam City
We
Clerk?
have an order before us, and it's to do the nuts and bolt work. You're putting it in committee. You want to amend the ordinance. You need an ordinance to amend an ordinance, not an order. So I'm trying to get the chapter and section for you so you can read this.
Okay.
Adopt it for first passage.
Would you like me to ask for a
refer
5-minute
it,
recess?
Please.
Mr.
Councilor
President, can I have a
McCarthy.
5-minute recess, please?
5-minute recess. All in favor, post so voted. Thank you. Thank you. I was right.
Go on. No, I'm good, thanks.
Section 56. Well, because there's nowhere, here's the beginning. Is there anywhere here that says Congress? This is kind of apart, so. This is just the beginning. Here, what page do you have the 8? I have 1 to 7, and here's the back part.
But, I was thinking six. That's fine too. I hate six.
So I'm thinking that, because,
We're going shopping elsewhere, going elsewhere. Right. Yeah, I told her.
well, it's called. So these are 2 are parking. No, oh, is that 56? No. 56. See, this is parking meter zones, is parking meter zones is, and that's where it's.
We can put this in for second consideration. I think that makes perfect sense to change it back.
But yeah, that's.
Change it back to short.
I don't want to muddy the water.
There's a couple other streets.
It's on my calendar. I go when I get there.
I recognize the city clerk to read the proposed ordinance. Oh, Councilor McCarthy first? Oh, you have it. You have it, sir? Councilor
Thank you, Mr.
McCarthy.
President. I want to thank the city clerk for putting the language together for us to do this properly. City of Salem in the year 2012, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to Traffic Act, Chapter 42, Section 57C, parking time limited monthly zones. Be it ordered that the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, repeal Congress Street, Dodge Street, Gedney Street, Holyoke Square, and Norman Street parking time limited monthly zones. Section 2, this ordinance will take effect as provided by City Charter. I'm asking tonight, Mr. President, this, as we've discussed this evening, this has been amended. I'm asking for first passage and then refer to the Committee on License, Orders, and Legal Affairs, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole.
Thank you. Very, very concise. Any remarks on this?
No more remarks, sir.
All in favor? Opposed, so voted.
Opposed.
First passage. Opposed. Councilor Fury, recorded opposed. Everyone else, yes. All right? According to my notes, Councilor Segal, you'd be next.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Is the city clerk all set? Ma'am, you all set? All right, Councilor Segal.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Ward 3.
City of Salem and the City Council, September 13th, 2012, ordered the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, meet to discuss the recent settlement order by the Massachusetts Attorney General's Office relative to the school department's violation of procurement and bidding laws. Invited the mayor, school superintendent, finance director, director of school, grounds and buildings, city solicitor, and the former school business manager, Timothy Sheehan.
Remarks, Councilor?
Well, something happened here, and unfortunately, we had to find out from the newspaper. I think we should be informed of what happened. The city of Salem and the residents deserve to know what happened. And we got to make sure this doesn't happen again. So we can't do that if we don't know what happened. So I think we should bring them in, find out what occurred, and put procedures in place so it doesn't happen again.
Well, it shouldn't be how and why?
Excuse me?
Shouldn't it be why, too?
Well, that's also, there's a lot of questions that will come up at this meeting.
All right. Any remarks on this motion? Councilor Ryan, Ward 4.
Thank you. I agree with Council Segal. I watched the school committee meeting. They didn't even know about it. And I think it was Committee Member Fleming brought it up, and it kind of got brushed under the rug. That's something pretty big. I think that there's more answers, questions that need to be asked. So I think it's good to bring everybody in and find out what happened and make sure it doesn't happen again.
All right, any other remarks, member of the council? The chairman of the committee understand the charge of the council? All right, all in favor, opposed, so voted. Unanimous. Councilor Sosnowski, Ward 2.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, September 13, 2012, ordered that the Committee on Community and Economic Development, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, meet to discuss the impact of the smart growth initiatives and the Metro Future programs, and that the following be invited. Representatives from the Planning Department, Historic Salem, and I want to add to this, I want to add that the representatives from the Mayor's Office and representatives from Purchasing, and I'll explain why later.
Does the clerk have all those additions?
City planner too.
Here.
Because I don't have them up here. Do you have them? You got them, so you'll submit them to the clerk?
I'm going to be submitting it in writing.
Remarks, Councilor? Well, after
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. What we have here is really a very serious issue. Could you pass that down, please? I didn't modify it yet. All right,
You didn't modify it yet.
so for some of you that do not know, Bridge Street has been going under two studies. First of all, Steve Cecil from the Cecil Group did something called a revitalization study, right, where they wanted to do all kinds of things down there to see what we could do to brighten up and what's the vision for Bridge Street. That being said, that kind of died away because there didn't seem to be an awful lot of support for that. Now all of a sudden, MAPC, the Metropolitan Area Planning Council, has come forward again with a new Bridge Street revitalization project, and we're in the process of listening to this now. However, you need to understand that they've been using a lot of words when they talk about these things, and some of these words were kind of nice, because everything they said sounded great. But listen, and listen carefully. They were using words like Metro Future. They were using words like smart growth. But the key one here was gateway city. All right, what do all these terms mean? So we looked them up. After we found out what they mean, gateway cities is a program signed into law by the legislature in the state in 2010. It's an agreement between the state and 24 participating cities. The agreement is to accommodate a large portion of the state's future population growth within those 24 cities. This is to be done by the year 2030. How does it happen? Okay. They have a whole series of plans here that's absolutely scary. When I look at all this stuff in here, there's a page in here, if I can find it. Here it is right here. Metro Boston will need to develop 349,000 units. Not people, units. And if you assume a minimum of 2 people per unit, you're looking at 700,000 people. We're one of 24 cities designed to get our fair share of those. And there's all kinds of things that are going on here. And what they're trying to do is develop overlay districts, which has been done, which has been said repeatedly through this whole thing. And when you establish the overlay districts, according to all this work here, obviously there's volumes of paper here. Some of it sounds good on the surface, but then when you start digging into it, it gets scary as hell. Pardon my French, or Polish. The problem here that I'm looking at, after this gets done, everybody builds by right. And by that I mean you don't have to go before the ZBA. You can sidestep density, you can sidestep land use, you can sidestep height, parking, setbacks, and that's just starting the list. What really caught my attention here was during this study, some of the things on Bridge Street that they've talked about were Salem Brake and Clutch. They want to put 165 units there. Then there was the Clipper Ship Inn. Not that it's for sale, but I'll get into that in a moment. Then there was J&W's Marine Store. And then there's a few other places, and then it particularly concerns me because when you start reading into this thing, the state offers an incentive. The incentive is if you have a piece of property, it's worth $1 million in the real market today. The state will come in and they'll double it. You walk away with $2 million in your pocket, you go to South Carolina and you retire. Meanwhile, we're stuck with something that the developer paid $2 million for, or actually received. He paid $1 million, the state matched it with another $1 million. So what does the state want in exchange for that? They want you to adopt all of this. And all of this is high-density zoning in its worst form you can imagine. Absolutely worst form. I personally am not going to be part of funding this program at all. And by the way, these 24 cities are asked by the state, you need to adopt the CPA, by the way, as a funding source for part of this. So by the way, let's tax everybody in the city so that we can have you live in tenement hell. I am not into this at all, because if I'm looking at 700,000 units, 700,000 people with 24 cities here, and I have all the documents here, and I'm going to make a package for every councilor here, and I'll make a few extra packages here. I'm still getting information that comes in every day. It's absolutely scary what goes on in this thing and how they intend to do that. Even 24, what's that? 1/5, 5% of the package? Forget 5%. Even if we were only designated to be 1%, we're being asked to put 7,500 people in this city. I remember talking with Bruce, the former city engineer. He told me that at $40,000, 40,000 people were maxed out on water, and that the Salem Beverly Water Supply Board could not support any additional serious numbers. Well, the reason why the state wants these 24 cities to do this in the first place is because we already have existing infrastructure, and for the state to come in with funding and grants to do sewers and storm drains and gas lines and electrical lines. They don't need to go to some green place where there'd be room to do this. They want to go to an existing city and town of the 24, we're one of them, of course, all right, and they want to jam the stuff down our throat. No way, so long as I'm a sitting councilor, will I ever allow this to happen, because there's no way this city can support that. Right now, we're bursting at the seams. We just had a long discussion about how we can park. Can you imagine 7,000 more people in here? And if that's only at 1%, 7,000 people, even if only half of them had a car, 3,500 more cars, come on now. I mean, think about it. It's mind-boggling how very serious this is becoming. It's just, it goes on, and it actually has a strategy in here. It's tax credit programs, how you do that, how you do this, the population growth. I mean, how do you do it? They're giving you a step-by-step guideline how to get all these laws passed so that you can circumvent everybody. It's amazing what you can do with a little research. And toward that end, I want to put this into a committee. I want to get these people to the table, and I want to say, okay, where are these
Would you list the
districts?
people you would like the Committee on Economic Development to invite?
Oh, they're already invited, the
All
people
right.
that signed
What
this.
about somebody from the state? Metropolitan Planning Council?
Well, we can have Sam Cleaves is the person who is the
Hi.
who's the representative from MAPC who's helping to run the study right now. We can have him there or not. It's up to it's your call. All right. But basically, MAPC is more than welcome to join because I'd really like to know where they intend to put all these things. And quite honestly, maybe this is answering the question as
Council,
to
you
why.
say this is tied in with the Bridge Street project?
This is what provoked this. This is what started
Well,
this.
are we going to be tied up like that with Canal Street too?
Mr. President, I'm scared because, quite honestly, when you think about this, where isn't it not happening? Councilor Prevy's ward is being impacted. You know yourself. You were here when we heard the comments about what they wanted to do on Franklin Street. They wanted to put 600
understand.
units on those 5 properties.
Thank you,
600
Councilor.
units. Now, on the other parts of Councilor Prevy's area, they've got Salem Oil and Grease. That's what, at least twice density. They got 28 Goodhue Street, that's 2.5 density. They've got Salem Suede Bonfanti Leather. I don't even know what the numbers are, but it's multiples of what's allowed. All right, it's crazy, and I'm trying now. If you connect the dots, it all starts to make sense why this is all happening. It's part of a plan to change the face of this city, and I will have no part of it. All right, I don't want any part of this whatsoever. This city, I love this city, and I've had people come up to me and say things like, "I've lived here my whole life. I don't want to live here anymore." If this gets implemented, I'm going to join them in leaving, because this will not be the Salem that I've grown up and loved. This will not be the Salem that I have 5 generations of family in.
Councilor Ryan will find all this information for the council. We'll know all about it.
It's
Any remarks?
devastating.
Thank you, Council. We'll come back to you perhaps. Councilor Siegel and then Councilor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also did some research on this. I spent about 5 hours one night looking through this. I don't know if it was the Cecil report, but there's about a 110-page report that was done, I think, in 2009 or 2010, which states a lot of what Councilor Sinofsky was saying. And reading through that report, it was Salem breaking clutch, which they talked about making that either market rate apartments or low-income apartments. At that time, what the study found was it wasn't viable. But even though that said it there, all the steps to get that viable, they've taken. The Bridge Street, the new park that they're gonna build, and the goal is kind of like cluster housing. And they wanna do it so there's bus routes, there's transportation, there's a public park, and I wasn't going to print it because it was 110 pages, but maybe I'll print it, or it should be somewhere in the city here, just so everyone can read it. But I will say, they did say that it wasn't viable at that time, but it appears that they're doing all the steps to go forward. I don't know where the finances are coming, but a lot of these grants that Salem is getting is part of this. There was one for school, the park, which I think there was something in the paper today about the park off of the pier down there, off of Bridge Street. And I'd be more than happy to print it and bring it in, and maybe the clerk can make copies to everyone.
Thank you. Councilor Sargent.
Thank you, Mr. President. So you always have to look for the ulterior motive. And I think there's a large ulterior motive in this plan here. And, you know, this plan talks about infrastructure and bus routes and building more housing along those bus routes and going where there's already the infrastructure, like there's no infrastructure in some of the other towns. And those places that they want to go and build more housing are already having a difficult time. I mean, around here it's Lynn, Peabody, Salem, downtown Beverly. Up north it's Haverhill, Lowell, Lawrence. These are the kind of places that if you read the newspaper, you understand don't need any more burden on their cities and towns. Their police are overburdened, their school systems are overburdened, they're having a difficult time with everything. But somehow, they're gonna get more people that need more services because they already have the infrastructure. And if you notice the towns and cities they mention, or they leave out, that don't have the infrastructure, they're the ones with the 2-acre lots. You know, Boxford isn't gonna take any of this metro plan. You say they couldn't fit any more people in a place like Boxford. They're really, and their school system's overburdened, you know? The Masconomet system must be overburdened. These places have highways, but somehow they don't have infrastructure. And they're camouflaging this with, well, there's already bus routes there, and there's already all kinds of infrastructure. Well, that's just not the way to go. We can put some bus routes up in these towns that don't have infrastructure. Let's have some plans that bring infrastructure to the towns that could use some people, instead of overburdening the towns that already have the infrastructure with more people than they can handle. It's just not a fair system. It's a way of putting more on the have-nots and leaving the haves to live in a little utopia. I mean, there was a plan to build 25 one-family houses and take a 25-acre lot in Beverly Farms and turn it into, it was an estate, and turn it into 25 houses, each on 1 acre, 25 1-acre lots. And somehow that got taken to court and overturned because it was too dense and different issues. Look at what we would put on 25 acres in our town. On a plan like this, there would be hundreds upon hundreds of units and something like that, and somehow it's okay in Salem. You know, we do our fair share for regional things over and over and over again, but we can only do so much, and Lynn can only do so much, you know, and those kind of things. All these different plans like unfunded mandates. Imagine that if a child on school choice from Lynn goes to Hamilton High School by school choice under state law, that taxpayers' dollars from Lynn get sent over to Hamilton. Can anybody in their right mind think that Lynn doesn't need the money and can afford to donate money towards a town like Hamilton? And nothing against Hamilton, that's just the way the state plan goes. It just isn't fair. Thank you.
Councilor Fury, remarks?
Mr. President, I welcome the debate and dialogue and discussion about smart growth and metro future programs. I went to the hearing tonight on conservation about that Bridge Street abutment that's been long in the waiting from IUB and the bridge, IUB bypass and the bridge. That's been a long overdue process that's finally coming into the drawing stage, and you've been a part of it, Councilor Sosnowski. It's an eyesore, and people like the planning board are trying to get those eyesores to be positive. The city of Salem's possibilities. We see Salem Swade, we see Flinton area, Salem Oil and Grease, so many other areas of Salem that look like bombed out eyesores. Metropolitan planning, smart growth is all part of it. We're not a 19th century city anymore. We're a 21st century city of possibility. I welcome the debate and dialogue, but it's not a bad word, smart growth. And it's not a bad word, metropolitan. We have to be a part of the metropolitan area. Not that they're going to ramrod us into everything on Bridge Street, as you mentioned, but I think we ought to look at the possibilities they offer to the city of Salem, because Salem is not the 19th century, and the rest of the cities and towns will go ahead of us if we don't take proper investigation and dialogue and discussion in these things. They're not all negative. What is negative is Salem Swade, an eyesore, Flintian, an eyesore, the Beverly Salem Bridge stem, an eyesore. No other city would put up with them. Peabody, Danvers, Salem, Marblehead, none of them would put up with it. Or Boxford would put up with it.
Councilor Sosnowski, would you like to sum up comments on this?
I certainly would, Mr. President.
Go ahead.
we have a tradition or habit of saying, oh, it's an eyesore. And the only way that I can possibly do this and make any money is you have to allow me 3 times allowable density. Otherwise, I'm going to go running away crying because I'm in the poorhouse. The reality is we've spoiled the developers. We said, oh, gee, you're right. Go ahead, put up what you want. I don't care if you destroy the neighborhood. Put it up. Who cares? I mean, we're not accountable for our decisions over there at the planning board. We're not elected. We're not accountable at the ZBA. We're not elected. And when the problems come, who gets the phone calls? Everybody sitting here. Everybody. You included, Mr. President. You know where I'm coming from. The precedent that we have started ourselves of allowing people to say, it's an eyesore, and oh my God, I can't touch it for less than $3 billion. And I have to put affordable housing. What a joke that term has become. I mean, St. Joe's, for example, $20,000, 52 units. Do the math, it's $394,000 each. That's affordable housing? Think about this. Do the math, punch the numbers. It doesn't work. And it's not like we're not already at affordable housing. We've got 14%, which, by the way, happens to be a whole lot more than most of our surrounding communities, and we're always compared to our surrounding communities. So, I mean, this will all come out in the discussion. When we get this into the committee, it's going to be an interesting debate because there's a lot of people that want to come in and they have a lot more ammunition toward this conversation to add to this. I mean, this is amazing. I personally, 19th century, no, I don't want cow paths here, but I certainly don't want to walk out of my house and look up at a tenement building. And that's the way we're heading. And I certainly want to look across the street. I want to see a park that's green. I want to see a lot of different things that are developed the right way. I mean, there's a reason why we have zoning. Zoning, if you look at the intent, it's to protect the neighborhood. I'd like to see the statistics on how many of the decisions that each of these boards have made that should have been challenged, and the only reason why they weren't is the neighbors, didn't have the money to challenge them. That'd be an interesting statistic to find out, because I got to tell you one thing, almost every time the neighbors have found the money to do the challenge, almost every time they prevailed in court. Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilor Sargent.
Just quickly, I mean, eyesores need to be cleaned up. But in affluent communities, eyesores tend to become open space. In not so affluent communities with infrastructure, they tend to be 300-unit apartment buildings. And that's a little bit different story. And case in point, on the Salem Marblehead line, the old lead mill site needs to be cleaned up. It's going to be cleaned up as open space. 90% of it is in Marblehead. You cannot tell me that if 100% of that property was in Salem, it wouldn't be proposed as the same development as Salem Oil and Grease and Salem Suede, et cetera. That's the way things go between the affluent and not so affluent communities, communities with infrastructure and communities without infrastructure. And that's how these catchwords are moving along. Thank you.
Any other remarks? All in favor of the order as presented, opposed? All in favor? All in favor, raise your hands. Opposed? Unanimous. Next order is Councilor Sosnowski again. Pierce Avenue, Councilor.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, September 13th, 2012, ordered Bridge Street, easterly side from Pierce Avenue in a northerly direction along the property line of 15 Bridge Street, 2-hour parking, 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. for a trial period of 60 days.
Remarks, Councilor Sosnowski?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. There's a group of 4 people that manage the 99 restaurant. This address, by the way, 15 Bridge Street, is the 99 restaurant. If you've been into the 99 restaurant, it's a great family venue. It's a very nice place to go, reasonable money, reasonable variety of food. You can do well. Problem is, once you park there, once you leave there, you're leaving the parking lot. When you leave the parking lot, you're facing Bridge Street, you've got Bill and Bob's on the right, you're looking down at the traffic coming at you from the left that's heading north into Beverly, and you can't see anything because there's always big vehicles parked there. I have nothing against these vehicles. As a matter of fact, one of them is owned by a friend of mine. However, the problem is, from a safety point of view, they have had numerous complaints about people trying to leave. They nose out, they nose out, they nose out, they don't see anything, they nose out a little bit further, and the next thing you know, at 40 miles an hour, there's a car slamming the brakes on so they don't get creamed. This is act for a trial period of 60 days to see how it works. And we need to see if we can somehow make that a safer place for everybody to be. So it's simply that.
Good order, Counselor.
Okay.
I know what
Thank
you
Mr.
want.
President.
Counselor?
Thank you, Mr. President. Question through you to Councilor Sosnowski. Have you spoken with Officer Kozlowski about this? Have you received any feedback from him on this issue?
Counselor, you ever answer Counselor Carr's question?
Excuse me?
Have you spoken to?
I'm going to answer Councilor Carr's
Oh, all
question right now. As a freshman counselor, he may or may not know that there's an ordinance that requires any traffic, parking, or any other type of change like that to have the recommendation of the Salem Police Department. It cannot go before this council without that recommendation. All right? That being said, yes, I have the recommendation. Matter of fact, I didn't want the trial period. It was Lieutenant Brzezinski that wanted it. I wanted it just straight out, period.
Thank you. Any remarks on this motion? All in favor of the order? Opposed, so voted. Counselor Sosnowski.
Yeah, I gotta finish.
Watts Court.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem, in the year 2012, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to parking, Chapter 42, Section 75, parking prohibited tow zone resident sticker. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Watts Court, Zone D, color yellow, both sides in its entirety, resident sticker parking tow zone. This ordinance shall take effect as provided by the city charter.
Remarks, Counselor Sosnowski?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Under discussion, basically what's going on here is the residents of Watts Court, it's a very unique, it's literally one of those cow paths we just referred to. If anybody's ever driven down it is so narrow, and there are certain points you can't even get vehicles. I mean, I don't know how you can get anything in there. It's scheduled to be repaved, and we can't even get the street eater to go in there. It's so tiny. The parking wasn't an issue until we had more or less a domino effect from this comprehensive plan. Everything's moving out and out and out and out. So all of a sudden, you'll see further, I've got some orders here for Chestnut Street as well, because that is a domino effect of this parking plan. Now all of a sudden, where people from Watts Court used to park, they can't, because we're going to be correcting the Chestnut Street situation. Legally, they won't be able to park there unless they have something here. But this is not the only place they can park. They can park any places for that matter. But we'll get into that. But basically, I have a petition that I passed on to Lieutenant Brzezinski that has the signatures of each and every resident on the street, which is unusual to get 100%. Normally, you're in the high 90s. But we have 100% on the signatures having a request here. So I'm passing it forward, and that's what I'm asking the council for.
Any remarks, Counselor McCarthy?
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a curious question through you to the Good Ward 2 Councilor. Is Botts Court currently, what's the restriction on parking on Botts Court itself?
Councilor Sosnowski, you addressed that
There
question?
is, I believe there is no parking on Botts Court right now, either side.
Another question, Counselor McCarthy?
I guess that begs the question, if they can't park on Botts Court, then I'm just trying to get to the intent of this order. If you can't park on Botts Court, because they can't park there legally now, because it is no parking, because as the good councilor alluded to, it's narrow enough that there isn't parking on any side of the street. So everybody who lives on Botts Court now is going to be eligible for a resident sticker pass so they can go park someplace else in the zone. Is that what it's getting to?
Councilor Sosnowski? That's correct, Mr. President.
That's correct.
Very similar to like the Curtis Street situation.
Councilor McCarthy?
I guess on principle, I have a problem with that because, I mean, no offense to anybody who lives on Botts Court. I happen to know somebody who lives on Botts Court, but I've tried to park there, and I've parked on Essex Street. So I guess my issue is does everybody on Chestnut Street know that everybody who lives on Botts Court is now going to be parking on Chestnut Street in front of somebody else's house that before couldn't? I guess, and it's the Good Ward 2 Councilor's ward, and I'm sure he's worked it out with all the neighbors, but it just, in my opinion, for a council that has more zones than I want to think about, it just throws a whole other wrinkle in the ability for zones, and it just makes me wonder where we're going with these things, because the residential sticker zones now, if we're going to give a street that doesn't have any parking the ability to get a sticker to go park on somebody else's street that is restricted zone for that street, then it just, in my opinion, is going to potentially open up a can of worms, and I just will understand about it, but it's his ward, I'm going to let him deal with it.
You want to handle that question?
Actually, the council brings up great points, and I don't necessarily disagree with principle. However, the bottom line is if you take everybody that lives in Botts Court and you put them in one place, what do you got, 4 cars? All right? So basically, they were parking on Chestnut Street when the signs were removed, but the signs were removed illegally. So now that the signs are going to be going back up, they're going to be caught between a rock and a hard place. And now, it doesn't have to be Chestnut Street, it could be Essex Street, it could be any place in Zone D color yellow. It doesn't have to be Chestnut Street, right? However, in principle alone, I don't necessarily disagree. It's just, this is the will of the people on the street, and being a representative, I have to put forward what they've asked me to do. All right, toward that end, that's where I'm at with this. Do I have certain hesitations? Yes, of course I do. Right? But I have to go forward with it because that's what they've asked me to do.
And the visitors are going to park on Chestnut Street, too.
I don't...
Well, there's 2 visitor
I'm not sure that
passes,
we're
every resident pass, correct?
I'm not sure if this is going to fall into the category where they could get a visitor pass. I have to check it out. This is another discussion we'll talk about when we get into the committee reports.
Has that been resolved? I mean, with Lieutenant Pazuski, they're going to be parking on Chestnut Street.
Not necessarily Chestnut Street. They're going to park wherever they can find a space that's legal to park in Zone D color yellow.
All right.
Let's try it. So.
Right? It's...
Any other remarks? Is this for permanent or trial? This is
first pass.
permanent.
This is permanent, I believe.
Permanent, all right?
Move the question.
All in favor? Opposed? None. Adopted. Councilor Slonowski. This big in chapter now, next page, 10, 11.
Okay.
11. All those Chestnut Street, I suspect.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes.
Council, before you start reading all of that,
Go ahead.
is the whole street going to be resident parking?
Yes. Let me explain.
Oh, you better explain that.
I need to, protocol dictates I need to read this, first of all. City of Salem in the year 2012, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, Chapter 42, Section 51B, parking prohibited at certain times on certain streets, in Section 75, parking prohibitions, tow zone, resident sticker. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1. Repeal Section 51B, Chestnut Street, southerly side from Cambridge in an easterly direction for a distance of 50 feet, 1 hour parking, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Section 2, repeal Section 51B, Chestnut Street, southerly side in a westerly direction from Summer Street for a distance of 60 feet, 1 hour parking, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Section 3, repeal Section 75, Chestnut Street, color D, Zone D, color yellow, resident sticker parking, tow zone, eastbound on both sides of northerly and southerly from Cambridge to Summer Street. Section 4, repeal Section 75, Chestnut Street, color D, one more time, Zone D, color yellow, from Flint Street to Summer Street, limited 2 hour by non-residents. Section 5, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by city charter. Under discussion, Mr. President.
Well, explain that now.
Let me explain what's going on.
Explain that.
Okay. When you look at the existing traffic and parking ordinances for Chestnut Street, you open the book, and there it is, the 7 rules for parking on Chestnut Street and traffic control on Chestnut Street. The first 3, we're going to not touch at all. The first one is it's declaring it's a one-way street from Flint to Summer. The second one is an obedience to an isolated stop sign at where Chestnut Street bumps into Summer. The third one is no heavy vehicles allowed. I'd like to modify that to no commercial vehicles, but I haven't got to that one yet. All right? But then we had some pieces here that I've had to repeal. In other words, they had a section of the street. It was a 50-foot section here had a rule, a 60-foot section there had a rule. This section up here had a rule, the section down here had a rule. How do you enforce this? So what we did was, I talked to the lieutenant. We've had, obviously, numerous discussions with all the various people there, including people from Hamilton Hall, by the way. All right, and we've said, okay, let's make it uniform from beginning to end. From all the way where it starts at Flint Street to all the way where it ends at Summer Street. Both sides, one rule. Resident sticker parking, what the heck is it? Okay, that's the next ordinance here. It's going to be resident sticker parking, both sides in its entirety, limited to 2 hours by non-residents. Basically, what has prompted this, again, is the domino problem that this downtown parking comprehensive plan has done. When people can't get a free space here, They're gonna find it the next place, and they're gonna find it the next place. And so it's all of this downtown commercial parking, and I say commercial because it's not residents, it's people that either work there or are going to business there or are something there, but they're not residents. They're migrating out into these various residential neighborhoods, and they're creating a problem. Toward that end, this is what this is all about. Just repealing all this stuff, getting it ready so that I can introduce the next order being the simplicity part of it. All right, and that's where we are with this. All right, so
So
I move for-
we're repealing all of this
we're
tonight.
repealing this, I move for
And what are we
adoption.
putting in its place?
That'll be the next one, Mr. President.
The next
Well,
one?
we're
So the
putting a
people that
simple-
have been booted out of Watts Court are gonna be able to park on Chestnut Street sometime?
If that, yes, yes, they will be.
When, from like 3 in the morning till 8?
No, they're
I mean,
gonna park there at any time.
Oh, all right, all right.
At any time. There are certain parts of the street that look like
But
a
Counselor, don't you think?
deserted area.
I listened to the pleadings of the neighbors that night we had this, but don't you draw a line between Summer Street and Chestnut Street and Pickering Street? Why the whole street? The street must be 60 feet wide.
You could land a
It's the best street,
747 on that street. It's
best
amazing
paved
how
street
wide
in
it is.
Salem, I noticed, yeah, compared to Ward 7.
We
The
want to
street in
keep
Salem.
we want to keep it uniform and simple from beginning to end.
Yeah, all right.
All right, that's very simple.
Well, it's
All right,
not simple,
and
sir.
the
I
only
don't think
thing-
so. Okay. So you want this repealed, these three?
I want those pieces that I just listed off, Mr. President, I want those to be repealed, and I move for adoption for first passage.
All right, remarks? Any further remarks? All right, all in favor? Opposed? So voted. Councilor Sosnowski.
Thank you, Mr.
Again.
President. Thank you. Making sure I sign this one. Could you pass that along, please? Okay. City of Salem in the year 2012, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, Chapter 42, Section 75, parking prohibitions, towing zone, resident sticker. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Chestnut Street, Zone D, color yellow, resident sticker parking, both sides in its entirety, limited to 2 hours for non-residents. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by city charter.
Remarks,
Under discussion,
Councilor.
Mr. President, this is essentially, basically just keeping it all consistent, like I just finished stating. All right, we want to keep it consistent. It's some of the reasons for this inconsistency in the past ones. The people that ran Hamilton Hall thought that when they had an event, they'd be impacted. Well, we've addressed that with the police department. All they have to do is say, hey, look, we're having an event on such and such a day, from certain times to a certain time. We expect, there'll be people coming here to enjoy the hall. All right, toward that end, I'm not going to make traffic on the entire street to accommodate an individual, whether that individual be a resident or whether that individual be a business in a residential neighborhood, which the Hamilton Hall is. All right, I'm making it consistent straight across the line, and everybody seems to be in agreement with that. So while I've got a consensus going, I have no intention of stopping that, because some of the issues I've talked with those folks down there about are very contentious. So I'm going forward with this one.
Councilor, I have the same problems around Salem State University, but it's from 8 in the morning till 5 at night, Monday through Friday. This is essence saying never, ever are they going to park there, right?
No, Mr. President, this is saying resident sticker can park there 24/7. This is saying a non-resident can park
But
there.
suppose somebody drives all the way from New York to take some pictures and starts at Flint
Mr.
Street.
President, would you listen? This is saying that a non-resident can park here for 2 hours. 2 hours. If they're on Chestnut Street for more than 2 hours taking pictures.
It would take them 2 weeks from start for Flint Street to take pictures on both sides of that street. 2 hours, they'd have to run back and move the car again.
Mr. President,
I don't think 2 hours.
This is what I'm putting before the council.
All right, sir, that's your ward.
Thank you.
I think it's realistic, sir. All right, remarks? Any further remarks? Councilor Ryan?
I just want to know, the 2 hour, that's anyone can park there for 2 hours?
That's correct.
All right, anyone? Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? I'm opposed. Record me opposed, Madam City Clerk. We parachute people in there to take pictures, I guess. All right, remarks? Councilor Sosnowski again.
No,
Committee reports. All
No,
done?
no,
All done?
Mr. President, you have other councilors that want to submit orders right now.
Oh, it's been about Councilor Ryan? Who? Councilor?
Further motions, orders, and resolutions.
Yes, sir. Councilor Ryan. You got the floor, sir.
City of Salem, City Council, September 13th, 2012. Order that the Committee on Ordinance and Legal Affairs meet to discuss creating an ordinance regarding abandoning shopping carts. Under discussion.
Remarks, Counselor?
Over the last, I would say month and a half, we've had issues in Gallows Hill, I don't know, in other areas where there's people going around with shopping carts. They use it to collect the metals that are going through the trash, and they take shopping carts, in this case Stop and Shop, the Moolis, and they leave them throughout. They leave them there all week. They leave them in different places. One was in front of my house, one was on Hanson Street, Butler Street, all over the place. And we contact Stop and Shop. They'll come out and get it, but it takes like a week or whatever. They come out and get them all, and it's a pain in the butt. And one of the managers actually tipped his hand when he told me, he's like in Revere, actually told my wife, Revere has an ordinance about abandoned shopping carts where the city will go out, if they're left on the street, they'll take them, they'll store them at the DPW or whatever, and then they charge up to $25 per shopping cart for them to come and get it back for storage fee. And I don't know how much money, I mean, it works because I know that Stop and Shop in Revere doesn't go out and buy new shopping carts. They're expensive. They go back to the city and they pay the money, whatever they have to pay, to get those the carts back. But it's becoming an issue because with the economy, more and more of these people are going around and collecting metal and stuff like that. There's 2 trucks in my little block that have the back is loaded with all kinds of different metals and stuff, and they use one of them uses shopping carts, and they have them all over the place. And I went to go speak to the people, and they don't speak English. No habla español.
I have a problem in Ward 7, too.
Yeah, so I just figured we would bring this into committee and look at it. I have the
Excellent
ordinance
order.
from Revere, maybe to do it. I mean, and it was never an issue before, and maybe it might go away, so we might not need it, but it's just something I just want to put in committee.
Good order, sir. Any other remarks on this order? Yeah, Councilor Siegel.
Thank you,
Ward 3.
Mr. President. In my ward, we do have that issue also with the Shaws and Market Basket and Home Depot. Maybe this could force some of these stores to have the electric monitoring one. There are some places you can't leave a parking lot because the wheels lock up, and that might be the way to go for some of these places.
All in favor? Opposed, so voted. Adopted. All right.
Further motions, orders, and resolutions?
Further? Councilor Carrillo, yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, September 13, 2012. So ordered that the meter space on Lafayette Street between New Derby Street and Harbor Street on the southbound side of the street that are currently set to 4-hour parking be changed to 1-hour parking.
That's it?
That's it. This will take effect as provided for in city charter.
All right, remarks on the order? Councilor Siegel.
I'd just like to thank my, you all set?
I don't believe we can make any.
Oh, we can put it in, we can't.
Yeah, we can only put this in for
All
all
right.
committee.
All in favor? Opposed, so voted. That it, Councilor Carrillo? You got another one, or that's it? All right.
Ask if there's any more, Counselor.
Anything else? None? Committee reports? Committee reports. Councilor Sosnowski?
City of Salem and City Council, September 13th, 2012. The Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, to whom was referred the matter of granting certain licenses, has considered said matter and would recommend approval. Public Guide, Nicole Clark, 28 Howard Street, Salem.
Remarks, Councilor?
No discussion, Mr. President.
All in favor? Opposed? So adopted. Councilor Sosnowski? Committee report. Another one. Pay attention.
City of Salem and City Council, September 13th, 2012. The Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of resident sticker packing, has considered said matter and would recommend that the subcommittee meet to discuss the details of suggested changes to the resident sticker packing program.
Councilor Sosnowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Under discussion, well, I got to tell you, this was quite a lively debate. You were there, Mr. President.
I have a committee report, but I didn't bring it tonight to you, sir. I have a report of that committee.
There was a lot of discussion relative to this because we're trying to find solutions to a lot of different areas here. One of the areas had to do with creating a separate courthouse zone. I don't have I forgot the notes to that meeting. I don't have those notes with me this evening. But it was going to be a separate zone, I believe, wasn't it, Mr. President? Mr. President?
Okay, sir.
We were going to have, I think that zone was going to include Lynn Street, Federal Street, between Washington and North, and then we're going to have its own zone. You would have a sticker for that particular spot. The other part here is, actually, Councilor McCarthy, do you remember the minutes of this meeting? Because right now, my mind has so many different subjects, I don't remember the minutes of this meeting right now. All right, we had a lot of discussions and stuff.
Councilor Sosnowski, Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you. Yeah, this meeting took place, right before the summer. It's been a while, but the gist of it was there was a lot of discussion about how, with regard to resident sticker, and particularly one of the biggest concerns was the courthouse. And what was happening was they were finding that the abuse of guest passes, specifically around the courthouse, it's almost become like, in lack of a better word, almost like an underground black market for passes for people to be in the park over there. So with Bonnie Selly from the Treasurer's Department, who is now overseeing the resident sticker parking program, her recommendation was to create a independent zone for the courthouse, separate from any other zone around it, and then make it extremely difficult for the ability for people to make guest passes. We're talking about modifying the guest passes, making them larger. I brought up during the fact that when I did a job in Somerville, basically when I had a park on the street, I was given a placard like the size of this piece of paper, specifically stating where I was, and it had to be on my windshield. Trying to eliminate some of the ideas that people can just give out guest passes and allow somebody who's in that zone that the courthouse happens to be in from across town to be able to park at the courthouse, go to the train station all day, whatever it is they're doing, just to try to free up some of those spots and try to, quote unquote, close some of those loopholes in the system. We're all trying to identify them, we're all trying to figure out what it is, and this kind of goes hand in hand with the whole resident sticker parking and with what's the result of the comprehensive downtown parking plan. They're kind of going hand in hand. It's a work in progress. I give the good ward to council a lot of credit for taking on a lot of these initiatives, but I mean, one of the interesting things that came up actually in discussion after the meeting, which someone brought up to me, is the fact that you pull into a neighborhood that says resident sticker parking, but on those signs in that neighborhood, whatever neighborhood you happen to be in, it doesn't say resident sticker parking blue zone or yellow zone or green zone or whatever multicolored zones we have. It says resident sticker parking. So who's to say that if you don't have if you have a resident sticker for Ward 7, that you couldn't take your resident sticker and go park in Ward 1? There's nothing to prohibit that.
Doesn't
the way
work
this is, it shouldn't work that way. But those are the little things that we're trying to clear up because people tried to.
Well, for your information, the subcommittee was asked by Ms. Bonnie Selly to have the vehicle registration from the Mass Registry of Motor Vehicles be the criteria for visitors and residents, that they show us a registration of the vehicle at that address. Now, that will stop a lot of that, we think. I mean, Councilor Sosnowski is familiar with that proposal.
That will all, I'm sure the good council's order is for this is the continuing committee to before.
That's going to be from our subcommittee report, yes. Yes, Councilor Sosnowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. I got to tell you, for the record, I'm opposed to the entire resident sticker program citywide. I just think the whole program should be thrown away. All right, it is such a poor program.
Well,
I'm implementing things that I have to because that's the law. All right, we have to follow the law. Whether if we like the law or don't like the law, it's still the law. You need to follow it. One of the things that I suggested at this meeting, and this was kind of thinking out of the box, was let's do away with this and let's charge everybody in the entire city that has a vehicle $20 a year. You get a Salem, not a this zone, that zone, this zone, that zone, this color, that color. You get a Salem pass. I live in Salem. I am a resident of Salem. My car is registered in Salem. I can park anywhere I damn well please in Salem because I have my Salem pass, which would also include, for that money, Winter Island, Kernwood, McCabe Park, Forest River, any of these things. You go any place for your 20. If you don't want to pay your 20 bucks, fine, don't pay your 20 bucks. But for those that wanted to, they could then park in any city, any street, any place in this entire city. It was met with skepticism at first, but then people started to think about that, and they didn't think it was such a bad idea after all. Right? But just for the record, all right, then, like Councilor McCarthy was saying, we have tried to address everything because downstairs below us, right about, just about below where I'm standing, in the collector's office, the girls down there, I don't mean that derogatorily, the women down there, like these two ladies here had before, they're on the firing lines, they're on the front lines, and there's some people that come in that are pretty irate that ask about some questions that are just outside the box and that don't have answers to. And some of these questions were brought before us, and some of them are still unresolved. All right, and we're still working, so therefore, basically, this committee is continuing to meet. It will meet again now that summer session's over. All right, we'll continue to meet, and we'll try to iron out some of these things, and we'll be reporting back to the full council with where we are. But that's
Thank you,
one of
Council.
the things where we are right now. Thank you.
All right. Madam City Clerk? All in favor? Opposed? So voted. Madam City Clerk? Committee reports. Councilor Sosnowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Needless to say, it's been a very busy year.
Busy summer, Councilor.
Oh, yes. The City of Salem, the City Council, September 13, 2012. The Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of the parking lot recommendations, city ordinances for parking requirements, and the comprehensive parking plan, has considered said matter and would recommend that we reestablish the subcommittee to address parking problems in the downtown.
Remarks, Councilor.
Yeah, thank you. We met, and basically what we decided was we need to wait until the 90-day period is over. All right, essentially is what we've said to ourselves. Then at that time, we're going to come back and try to address some of these things. Some of the things that I still want to get addressed are, in addition to everything that's in this parking lot, I still need to find resolutions, hopefully, to people that are in like the Latitude 42, people that are in, I forget the names of them now, Bluestone, Latitude 42, you name it. There's a bunch of these things downtown where a lot of people are being impacted by this parking plan. So, but I want to wait the 90 days, and then we'll reconvene and we'll see where we are at that point. And so that's where we are with that one, Mr. President.
All right. All in favor? Opposed? So voted. We're now moving to Madam City Clerk.
Communications from city officials.
First one is Lieutenant Pazuski's message.
We have a communication from Lieutenant Robert Przuski of the Salem Police Department requesting to meet with the City Council regarding the current parking situation on Howard Street.
Councilor Sosnowski, would you like to address that Howard Street issue that he's talking about?
I certainly would, Mr. President. Needless to say, Howard Street's another very unique street. Right? Very small, very narrow. However, it's a very popular cut-through. People's doors, side of their cars, their mirrors almost certainly get busted off. I mean, I'm not alone in this. I mean, everybody here has a ward that, or a section of their ward where there's narrow streets and people's vehicles are in harm's way. Toward that end, the residents have taken whatever they can park off-street, and they park off-street for a lot of various reasons because it's the best thing to do. When all the off-street parking is taken up, off-street, by way of that I mean driveways, backyards, that type of stuff. When it's all taken up, they have to resort to parking on the sidewalk. The problem with that is it's against the law. There's an ordinance that says you cannot park on the sidewalk any place in the city. It's a good ordinance. I do not intend to revoke the ordinance citywide. The good lieutenant has come up with a few suggestions here, some of which I like, some of which I don't like. One of his suggestions was to turn the green space in front of the jail into a parking lot. I got to tell you, he's certainly not aware of the Bridge Street Neck Neighborhood Association and their petition of about a kabillion signatures saying that if I touch that, they're going to, plant a tree at Gallows Hill where they'll have me hanging there. All right, that ain't going to happen. That green space out in front there is going to stay that way. All right. So toward that end, he's coming up with certain suggestions. I had asked for no through traffic. I had a sign that says no through traffic. I had asked for a sign that says local residents only. I've been told, I was denied with those requests because they're illegal. Apparently, those things are illegal. So I still have a problem. How do I help the people? They bought houses there, they need to park there, and yet, what do? So toward that end, Lieutenant and myself, we've met, I can't even count the times we've met about this, but meanwhile, we have to figure out a solution because people continue to get ticketed. And the other part about it is, I don't want them being ticketed, but yet at the same time, I used to be the liaison to the Commission on Disabilities. I don't want to block the sidewalk from someone that has a wheelchair, someone that has any kind of a disability, a mobility disability, nothing. So, damned if I do, damned if I don't. But something has to happen. So we're trying to find a resolution, so we're going to be meeting, and we're going to see where we can take this from there on Howard Street. Okay, so I don't know, who's the chair of Public Health, Safety, and Environment? Is that Councilor Prevey? All right, so in Councilor Prevey's stay, I would move for approval of the recommendation here.
Councilor,
Yes, sir. Yes, Mr. President.
I was a councilor of Ward 2 for 12 years.
Yes, sir. Then you know
I
exactly what I'm
resisted
going
this
through.
request for 12 years because it's not feasible. If fire apparatus in the wintertime cannot get down Howard Street, and they're saying he doesn't want to let them park on it. What's going to happen on Derby Street? What's going to happen on some of these other streets? There's going to be, when we're plowing snow, when you have 5 feet of snow, there's no place to park. They're going to put the snow out in the street, and how the fire apparatus is going to get down.
Mr. President, I am
council.
very much aware that you are a former state fire marshal and are very up to speed with all
Well,
this
the police
stuff.
too.
And
How are they gonna get
I
down?
gotta tell you, I don't disagree with you. I would much rather have a parking
Well, tell the
problem than
people
have
no.
somebody
That's
that-
how we tell them.
Excuse me?
We tell the residents, no, it's not right for public safety. You know, at one time,
but
we wouldn't let people...
Counselor-
Well, Counselor, at one time when I was councilor for 12 years, nobody parked on any street in the city during the wintertime, like some of our other cities. Nobody parked anywhere in the city. Find parking spaces then. And they want to park against the fence on the common, I said, you can't. So, I mean, you're going to open up Pandora's box here.
I am not saying this is going anywhere.
Well,
The request is from the
let's stop it right
lieutenant.
now. We don't have to go anywhere. All right.
Mr. President, the
I don't want
request is
to,
from the
so I shouldn't
lieutenant.
argue with you from the podium. But just, you're the counselor, you represent your people, they want you to do
The
something.
request is from the lieutenant to meet to see if there are any
Sure.
answers. The answer may be that there are no answers.
That's good.
However, I have to respect the lieutenant's request.
So do I.
All right? So I would like the committee to meet toward that end.
Fine.
Toward that end, I move that this motion be approved.
Any other councilors wish to address this matter? All in favor? I wish to be recorded opposed to this councilor's order. Motions, communications, city official. Any other ones? Petitions, Madam City Clerk.
We have a petition from National Grid to install conduits on Charter Street.
Hearing ordered September 27th with the other one previously tonight, 2012. Add two of them. Add that to that one. All in favor? Opposed? So voted. Hearing. All right, next matter is Carnival Fiesta Stores shows October 12th, 2012, down on Derby Street. Madam City Clerk, you want to read the petition, application?
We have an application for a Carnival by Fiesta shows for October 12th, 2012 through October 31st, 2012.
Council McCarthy, Ward 1, Fiesta Stores, shows.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for approval.
Move approval of the request. Remarks, Councilor?
Thank you, Mr. President. Tonight we have an application in our packet from Mr. Gene Dean from Fiesta Shows, sitting right here behind me. If anyone wants to waive the rules, allow him to speak. Mr. Dean has been operating the carnival down there for quite a few years. He does a very nice job down there. He's also the operator that runs all the rides at the Topsfield Fair. In talking with the police department, specifically Captain Gilligan, Captain Gilligan assures me that Mr. Dean runs a good operation and will see fit to double up on some of the criteria to make sure that everybody who works on the show is up to snuff and in talking to Captain Gilligan, who's, you know, basically in charge of Halloween on the police side of things, he finds no issues with them, and anytime he has a request of them, they're very responsive. So with all that, as much as in all due respect to Mr. Dean, I always refer to it as kind of like the necessary evil, so to speak, about Halloween is the show. I know he does a nice job running it. But it's kind of like put on the only spot we can put it. It's kind of tightly fit in there. They make it fit. They make it work. The kids seem to enjoy it. The police department supports it because it happens to be an activity for kids, and they've come to the realization with the hours that they're asking for, they don't try to run the thing late at night because, you know, the people, the kids, the families that are taking kids down there, by 9, 10 o'clock on a weekend, they're gone, and they don't like to keep it open much later than that because then you just ended up with a bunch of kids hanging around that they don't want. We don't want that trouble. They don't want that trouble. They don't make any, you know, they don't make any money at those times. So the application hasn't changed over last year, so I would be supportive of it.
Would you ask the council to allow Mr. Dean to speak so the 3 new councilors could?
Sure. At this time, I'd like to ask for suspension of rules to allow Mr. Dean to speak.
The objection to suspension of rules allow Mr. Dean. Mr. Dean, would you approach the podium, introduce yourself, and tell the new councilors, you know, how long have you been in business with your father and, you know, go back history?
Well, my name is Eugene Dean. I reside in Salisbury, Massachusetts. How long? I'm 70. I started at Salisbury Beach when I was 10, and we've been at Topsfield Fair for 62 years. So we've had a long run with this amusement business, and I think we've been now 6 or 7 years in Salem doing it.
And all of your operators approved by the Department of Public Safety, and the rides are inspected?
They're all inspected by the
state law?
Yes.
Any questions of the council? Council Lyon?
Thank you. I just had a couple questions. I remember the city, do we still get a percentage? Is there still?
Yes,
some
yes.
And
What is that percentage, Mr. Jean? So,
They're 25%.
And then the other question was,
What?
through you, Mr. President, if this site ever gets developed, where would you end up going? I know it could be anywhere. If the site on Derby Street we use every year, if that gets developed, I remember originally when they first came in, was it going to go to the Common? But I mean, I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, so.
We're waiting for permission for the Common.
Mr. Dean? You're pointing to Mr. Sosnowski. There'll be no common rides, correct? Any questions of Mr. Dean? Hearing none? All right, thank you, Mr. Dean. On the motion of Councilor McCarthy for approval, all in favor? Opposed, so voted. Thank you, Mr. Dean, for being patient all night.
Thank you.
All right, BNS Fitness, ma'am. City Clerk.
We have a request from BNS Fitness to hold a road race on October 6, 2012, and use of city streets.
Anyone in the chamber of BNS Fitness speak on this petition? Hearing none, Chair will entertain a motion to approve. Councilor McCarthy?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm a little bit at a loss for this one because, to be honest with you, with the leaving of Doug Bolin as our Park and Rec Director, I have not had the opportunity to talk to Mr. Bolin about this. And by looking at the application, I don't recall this race being run previously. Can someone correct me if I'm wrong? Was this race been run previously? Because I don't remember it being run previously.
Last year.
Was it run last year?
Yeah.
Did you run it?
No, I looked at it, I watched them.
You watched them run? Because I mean, it has a unique route. It's on a Saturday afternoon. It does, Lieutenant Krasuski did approve it. If it has been run last year, because I'm really not in favor of adding, at this point, especially in October, adding another road race. I think that October is inundated enough with events and things that go on that we don't need to be adding another road race.
What is your pleasure, Councilor? It's your ward. What are you?
Thank you, Mr. President. But according to this, it was held last year, and if it was held last year, Mr. Bolin approved it, I don't have a problem with it. But if per se I find out the fact that it hadn't been approved by Mr. Bolin, or because Mr. Bolin has left, and it is not in its second year, then I'll be moving. I'll bring something back on our next meeting. But at this time, I will grant approval.
All right, all in favor of granting that?
I'll recommend approval. I can't grant it myself.
All right, so all in favor of approving the recommendation? All in favor? Opposed? So voted. Approved. BNS Fitness. Park and Rec. Next one, ma'am. Boys
A
Club?
request from Park and Rec Boys and Girls Club to hold a road race
Anyone in the chamber
on November
speak on the
22nd.
petition?
On November 22nd in use of city streets.
What's the council's pleasure? Council McCarthy?
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for approval. Under discussion, I actually enjoy this race immensely. This is the Thanksgiving Day road race. It benefits the Park and Rec Department and the Boys and Girls Club. It's going to be an interesting road race this year because with Doug Boland moving over from Park and Rec to the Boys and Girls Club, he usually spearheads this event. Hopefully we get someone in place on the city side. It's a great fundraiser for the Park and Rec and the Boys Club. I know that myself and a bunch of neighbors, we get out early and cheer on the runners prior to myself leaving with vacating the house so my wife can do all the cooking. We go to the football game right after the road race is over. But it's a great road race. It's first thing in the morning on Thanksgiving. People dress up in costume. It's just a neat race. It's done in an orderly fashion, and I want to thank Mr. Doug Boland for all the years that he ran the race on behalf of the city, because it is a great fundraiser for the Park and Rec and for the Boys and Girls Club.
Any other remarks? Councilor Lyon?
Thank you, Mr. President. I ran this race last year, and it's funny because I had to stop a couple times, but when I went, I knew I was getting to Councilor McCarthy's house. I started running to make him think I was running the whole race. But it was a good race. I finished it. But
Thank you, Councilor. Look forward to this year. All in favor of the petition? Opposed, so voted. Next matter is North Shore Medical Center for next June.
We have a request
2013.
from North Shore Medical Center to hold their annual cancer walk and road race on June 23rd, 2013, and the use of city streets.
Councilor McCarthy?
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for approval.
Move for approval. Remarks, Councilor?
Thank you, Mr. President. I can't say enough about the cancer walk, other than some minor issues with regards to issues that we have around an event of this size, with the logistics of it, with respect to how it affects the immediate neighbors and neighborhoods. I can't say enough about the cause and about the people who run the event. I don't consider myself fortunate for walking the event the last 2 years. I walked the event the last 2 years on a team for a friend of mine who suffers, who's battling cancer herself, and I think it's just a great cause.
Any other remarks? Councilor Fury?
Just a point of personal information. I've been a volunteer for the Cancer Walk for the last 15 years. And lo and behold, I became a cancer victim. And I had surgery last November. So it affects so many people. And this is an amazing walk. I think this brings out the best in Salem. Thank you.
All in favor? Opposed, so voted. Madam City Clerk?
We have a request from Jennifer Reardon, owner of Inner Pig's Eye, to meet with the council to discuss the bench on Daniel Street.
Councilor McCarthy, Ward 1.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this matter be referred to the Committee on License, Order, and Legal Affairs and return back in a timely fashion.
Remarks, Councilor?
Thank you. Jennifer Reardon, who was in earlier during the public comment period, spoke to the bench. It's been sitting out in front of the Pig's Eye for about 7 years. We're going down some new territory here that we're going to have to go out in License, Order, and Legal Affairs because I guess according to the building inspector, we'll have to invite the building inspector in on this, or actually Mike in the building inspector's office handles these things now. With regards to the permitting of, I guess in his interpretation, it falls under the SRA controls all the outdoor seating in the downtown. We control all the outdoor seating outside of the B5 district. And technically, I guess a bench falls under that jurisdiction. So we'll have to take this matter up. I know there's a bunch of other benches on a bunch of other streets and other places in the city. This one happens to these, as spoken earlier, there's some, but we'll deal with it in committee.
It's like Yahoo's Coffee. That's the same. That's not an SRA district, and we handle that one.
Right. That was for outdoor seating. This is just for a bench. No one gets served food there. No one drinks coffee there. People sit there. They wait for a table, or they're waiting to get a cab or whatever. So we'll hammer it out in committee.
All in favor? Oh, Councilor Sosnowski, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Excuse me, I was talking about something else here. Did you invite the city solicitor? Through you, Mr. President. There's a city solicitor being invited and the assistant building
All right.
inspector.
Is that added? All right, Councilor McCarthy?
Because there
City
are some
Clerk?
legal ramifications I need clarification with here, so I just want to make sure that we're not violating any laws. Yep. Thank you.
City Clerk has that addition, addendum. Councilor Fury, you have your hand up?
No.
All right. All in favor? Opposed, so voted. Madam City Clerk?
We have a hearing request from Garrison Bond on the denial of his public guide license.
Councilor Sosnowski?
Thank you, Mr.
remarks?
President. Move this matter be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs to hold an executive session.
Remarks,
No
Councilor?
discussion.
All in favor? Opposed, so voted. Refer to the Committee on Ordinance, Licenses, and Legal Affairs.
We have a list of license applications, public guide, seaworm, secondhand value and tag days.
The chair will entertain a motion that the council doesn't have to read all the name, or the city clerk has to read
No,
all
the
the
city clerk just did, Mr. President.
Okay.
Okay. Now I need to introduce the motion.
Has she? Have you, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Councilor Sosnowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Okay, I move that these matters be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs. No
Remarks,
discussion.
Councilor?
No discussion.
All in favor? Opposed, so voted. Madam City Clerk?
We have taxi cab and taxi operator license applications.
What is the council's pleasure on petition taxi? Councilor Sosnowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that these matters, these two categories be granted.
Move that
No
be granted.
discussion.
Any remarks? All in favor? Opposed? They're granted.
We have one taxi operator and vehicle for hire operator only denied.
Councilor Sosnowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that both of these individuals be denied. No discussion.
Any remarks? No discussion? All in favor of the denial? Opposed? So voted. Madam City Clerk?
We have one drain layer contract operator license application.
Councilor Sosnowski?
Thank you, Mr. President. I move they be granted.
The one drain
No
layers
discussion.
application be granted. Any remarks? Hearing none, all in favor of the granting of the petition? All opposed? Granted.
We have
Claims.
a list of claims.
What is the Councilor Sosnowski?
Thank you, Mr. President. Okay, move that these matters be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs. No discussion.
Any remarks, Councilor? None?
No discussion.
All in favor of referral to the Committee on Ordinance, License, and Affairs? Adopted. Madam City Clerk, bonds?
We have two signed bonds.
Refer to the Committee on Ordinance, License, and Legal Affairs for approval.
Thank you, Mr. President. No discussion.
No discussion. Next matter, unfinished business.
We have
Handicap
second,
parking, Hawthorne Street. Councilor Siegel. Well, after the city clerk reads it. I mean, after, wait, hold up.
we have second passage of an ordinance amending traffic repeal handicap parking Hawthorne Street in front of number 80-82.
Councilor Todd Siegel, Ward 3.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move for adoption for second and final passage.
Councilor Siegel moves to second and final passage. Any remarks, Councilor Herring? All in favor? Opposed? So voted.
We
Madam
have
City Clerk?
second passage of an ordinance amending traffic handicap parking Beach Avenue in front of number 23.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption for second and final passage.
Councilor Sosnowski, Councilor McCarthy moves to second and final passage as adopted. Councilor Fury.
If I may, Mr.
Question
President.
on that passage?
One personal
Wait a
privilege.
minute, second passage.
Oh, I apologize.
Under discussion?
Yes.
No discussion.
No discussion. No discussion, Councilor. No. All in favor? Opposed? So voted. Question now?
Point of personal privilege, please?
Sure.
Please, if I may.
On this matter?
No.
Okay. Generally, fine. What have you got? We all get one?
I had the privilege and pleasure in 2003 to serve as council president. And it was a remarkable privilege to serve as council president. You learn so much about the tradition, the institution of the city council. And I hope we return back to the tradition to allow those people who have not served as council president to serve. In this chamber tonight, we have three councilors, Councilor Carr, Toriel, and Siegel have not served as council president. I sincerely hope now, in the contemplation of sometime in the near future of the next council president, I hope that we as a body consider going back to the tradition, allowing those who have not served on the as city council to serve, and be given that opportunity to serve as the president. I served for 1 year and I haven't served for 9 years since. And if you look at this handout that I gave you in the city manual, those people that I underlined in this list have not served as council president. And I would like us to return back as a body to think about allowing those people like the three councilors in this room now who have not served, be given that opportunity. The rest of us have all served. I don't want to serve again myself personally. I want to give everybody else a chance. And I hope somewhere along the line, I hope whoever then is the next council president, they would even give a chairmanship to the two people who have not served as chairman before. Councilor Churiel, Councilor Siegel, Councilor Carr, to serve as chairman, to give them the opportunity to grow and learn about this great institution of the city council. It's food for thought. It's just food for thought. I, as one personal city councilor, want to go back to the tradition to consider having just those who have not served serve the next council president. Among the three of them, they can decide who they want to be, whichever year they want to serve, one year after another after another. But I think it's a great learning experience, and I think we would be in good hands with Councilor Churiel, Councilor Siegel, Councilor Carr as the next council president. And I hope that it's in your wisdom to think about in the near future as we consider wrapping up in the year 2013. I know. Thank you very much.
But what about Councilor Sargent?
Each year I've asked him. In fact, I've asked him.
I mean, he's never served. What? All right.
I've asked him.
All right, Councilor.
I've even asked him before me.
All right.
Before I served.
Councilor.
I'm not sure what we're doing, but it's like whoever wants to serve puts their name forward, and then we look to see who's the senior person who hasn't served, and we weigh all those options. We don't appoint anybody. We don't ask anybody to be council president if they haven't decided themselves. That I think we've handled it pretty well in the past. We haven't denied anybody who wanted to be council president. My own self-work restrictions keep me from doing a lot of daytime meetings, and I like being on the committees, so that's a personal thing. I believe these three new councilors can speak for themselves and decide if they're interested in that. I don't think we really need to have this discussion. So,
Thank you, Councilor Sargent. Councilor McCarthy, you had your hand up.
Move to adjourn.
Move for adjourn? All in favor? Opposed? So voted.
I was going to raise my hand for that. Thank you, Bob.